Hello, everyone. And as Nicole said, again, welcome. Today's use case committee meeting, we're going to talk about an ask, and we're going to actually have a demo this week. We finally have gotten some people off summer vacations, and Nicole will lead us in a demo. And then we're going to see also a vibe coding demo. So this is fabulous. Let's move on to the next slide. So, use cases committee is asking to show. We've been asked to show what are we learning from all this work? What are we able to build? What can we do to help each other build other things? So, we've been focused on vibe coding, right? And showing how we can quickly build and test things. And I think some of you probably hear one of the first ones that Melanie McDonough did, and it was like one of the most impactful but small things that we learned in vibe coding. So actively, we've been, for the last few months, we've been sharing use cases. We've had all kinds of demos from other member governments. We keep learning from each other on tools and talking about prompts and workflows and how do we get there. And one of the big things that we really want to create is a repository of these true, real AI use cases across agencies because we want to share them with each other. We want to be able to, one of the things that I say a lot where I'm at is build it once, use it many times. So we're trying to get that moving within this group with some of our vibe coding expeditions here. So we're looking at this in phases. And first, we're just talking to each other and building things together and learning how to build things together. And we're trying to gather projects from people that have been following this in our use case committee meetings and bring the projects together all in one central hub where we can see things. And I think we're going to see an example of the first sort of try at this at the end of this meeting after the demo that Nicole is going to lead with Bodyguard. But that's what we're trying to do first is just gather some successful ones and get a show and tell of what made this come about, how did we do it, why is it impactful, and just start building them and collecting them. Next, in the next phase, we want to be able to build something where that code is shareable like a public GitHub, right? So if someone else did something that you know you can use and is going to benefit your organization, you know exactly where to go get it and pull a branch of it for yourself and start working on it in your organization. And then of course, the code is held by the GovAI Coalition. And like I explained, we'll let people branch off it and learn to build things from it. The beauty of all of this is in building this task force, we're asking anyone, all of you, to please come participate in no matter what phase it is or what you think you can contribute. We're also looking for a couple people to sort of co-chair and lead this. And this is national recognition, you guys, right? So if you would like to become part of something that is nationally recognized, helping public sector of all sizes be able to use AI responsibly and get things done and just build things that are usable by many people, shareable by many people, I really urge you to come be part of our vibe coding task force. We're going to be building this throughout the year, and we're definitely looking for a couple people to step up and say, I want to be part of the leaders of this. I think we could probably also have maybe a leader or two per phase. Nicole, what do you think? Because Nicole, we're going to call her out on her good work of starting to get this hub organized and created. But I think we have room here for a good handful of people to help lead different phases, as well as have as many people want to participate, be contributing to code or contributing to how do we do this safely or or what have you. So with that, I'm gonna let Nicole answer that and pass it off to her for the bodyguard demo.
All right, fabulous. Thank you, everyone.
Oh,
Um,
uh, Nicole,
yes,
are we are we taking questions or comments on the vibe coding task force before we
Sure.
move in?
We could.
we sure we can.
I was
There.
gonna ask at the end after we saw the municipal officials
Oh,
guide, but we could do it whenever you want, Albert.
we could do it at the end. Sorry, I'm going off script here. I have you guys roll with it. We can talk more about it at the end.
We can all roll with each other. It's all good.
All right. Yeah, thank you, everyone. If you are interested in this, it's okay. You don't have to have experience with vibe coding. Part of this is always our learning journey. Many of you know I was the co-founder of Women Defining AI, and this was exactly one of the hubs that we sent up. We set up. It was a gallery of just different projects that our folks had vibe coded so that they could share. Because oftentimes we know that sharing in public spurs other ideas, and that's what we're trying to do. So, as Carrie said, we've got a couple of projects that local governments have done. We're going to show you there at the end. But first, we're going to bring you one of our vendor demos. And so, Melissa and I had the opportunity to, I guess,
Oh,
who was it again? Melissa? It was through, it was Tyler through
Tyler Fiddick, yeah.
yes, through this Colorado Smart Cities Alliance. And she had connected, and we took a look at kind of each other's solutions. And I thought, oh, I think a lot of our member governments here in the GovAI coalition would appreciate this. This is a little bit different of an AI solution, but has to do with public safety and resident facing interfaces. So very excited. I'm not going to go too much more. Melissa, I'm going to let you and your local government, who is also from Colorado, yes.
Yes,
Very
Castle Rock. Our chief is here today with us. Yes, Chief Jack
fabulous.
Coley.
So
Okay.
just we're all hailing from Colorado today. So Melissa, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, thank you so much for having us today. I'm going to talk through our little agenda here. We're going to talk about briefly our introductions. We're going to talk about what it is like to have and do innovation with public safety, just for a minute. And then I'm going to talk about the My Bodyguard program. Every part of the My Bodyguard program is built with AI code in the back end. And then a part of our product is built with AI. And then I'm going to have Chief Jack Colley speak for about a majority of the conversation, and then we're going to open it up for questions. So Nicole did introduce me. I'm the founder and CEO of eBodyguard. It's taken me quite a while to figure out how to solve some of these really complex solutions and how to simplify that. I will tell you that. But I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you for having us. And we want to talk to you about, I want to talk to you about what it's like to innovate with public safety. I will share with you that innovating with public safety has not necessarily been the easiest thing, but in Castle Rock PD, they have made it super wonderful. And part of the reason is because Chief Jack Colley has created something called one by one policing, and he is focused on building trust inside of his agency and then also with his community. And what he does is he literally has set up a philosophy, so to speak, of meeting one by one with each and every one of his team members, and then that has actually gone out and fostered trust in the community as well. But when I walk into his police agency and I introduce my technology to his police agency, it's totally different. You can just feel that in the culture itself. I have innovated in multiple agencies across America as well as in Brazil and in other environments in Mexico as well, and you just feel the difference. The culture that is in Castle Rock PD, he has curious leaders. You're always going to find, even with AI, you're always going to find that there are you know cultural pushbacks, and you're going to need to have the ability to work with your client so that they give you that feedback, and then the ethnographic acceptance of your technology is going to be able to then deploy it in a way that the community will be able to accept it and then download, whatever is happening and occurring. And the reason that I'm telling you all of this, especially in the world of public safety, is because that leadership really matters. And I know that you all are from cities, so sharing this with you, and having that trust base with your police chief is super, super helpful and thoughtful and important. So I don't bring that to the table. That's Chief Jack Cawley and his team. And so what I bring to the table is the My Bodyguard program. And it begins as the My Bodyguard app on your phone, with the My Bodyguard app here, where we have a voice activated engagement into 911 across this country and in several nations. And this is the AI part of it. And it can be voice activated up to 30 feet away. And Chief Jack Colley will talk a little bit more about why that's so important to what his vision is for this and what he's doing there. And then the body cam itself that we've given to the community is actually not able to be altered or deleted, and it goes straight into the My eBodyguard portal. And yes, I am giving you a presentation, Andrew, in a minute. And then there's a safety card attribute, but I'm showing you the demo part right now. And the safety card itself is where all the information is stored from the community, and then they get to have the capability, every individual gets to have the capability to be able to choose exactly what goes to 911. So we're really focused on protecting the Fourth and the First Amendment right of the individual. And so I'm going to open up my screen right now and show the actual presentation. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep, we've got you.
Okay. So I just talked about the My Bodyguard app. And now we're moving into the My Bodyguard portal, which is basically your cloud where you are able to store all of your evidence from the body cam, the safety card, and anytime that you call 911 and or just want to be able to see the location of where you've taken any evidence or have captured that safety card. The first responder portal is agencies like Castle Rock PD. They're able to receive that evidence and the contextual information, and they get that within minutes of the call. And so every part of this program, though, is running on an individual that chooses what to share and when they share that, and there's no surveillance involved. And that's what's really important. We're all about privacy of the individual. And Castle Rock is the first agency in this nation that's focused on deploying the Smart Safe Cities My Bodyguard program version 2.0. And why does that matter? Here's why it matters. Because on the 2.0 version, we're focused on the privacy of the Fourth and First Amendment rights. And I've repeated that like several times. Here's why that's important. Because I know that we all care about law and order. We really do. But when our data feels like we've shared that with law enforcement, we want to know that it's not going to be punitive. We want to know that law enforcement is going to support us, that they're going to be there for us in an emergency, and that they're going to use the data that matters to be able to protect us. And that's what we've really thought through here. And Castle Rock has been amazing in doing that. And so, I really want to just give hats off to Castle Rock for the innovative thinkers that they are, and knowing that other cities can do this as well. And without further ado, I want to introduce Chief Jack Cawley.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you everybody for allowing me to be on here with you and share some of my thoughts. As Melissa said, we work a lot at Castle Rock Police on culture and creating a positive and healthy culture. But part of that is creating a culture that is innovative. In policing, I've been doing this a while. We've concentrated a lot on equipment and training, and we're finally getting to the technology piece of it. I do think that we've lagged behind the private sector when it comes to innovation, and that's something that I'm trying to fix in our profession. So that's one reason I'm excited about partnering with eBodyguard, so that we can use technology to help keep our communities safe. So I kind of want to get into that about what that means for us with this product and how we're using it. But it's all about the gap between when when the police arrive on a scene. And some of you on the call today may have had an opportunity to call 911, and maybe some not, because not really everybody gets an opportunity to do that. But I started my career as a police dispatcher, and I can tell you when people call 911, many times they're so scared and they're frightened that it's really even hard for them to talk and tell you what's going on. So you don't sometimes get a lot of good information from them. So it may be a domestic call, it may be what we call an unknown call for police, which means we know that somebody is needing our help, but we don't know exactly why. And so what this helps us do, this helps us bridge that gap with this technology. The other thing that a 911 call doesn't provide us is a verified account of what actually happened as they're making that call or before they made as they're making that phone call to the police. We're just getting that verbal, and sometimes it's not a very accurate verbal description of what's happening. And that gap that is occurring there, the actions that are occurring to the victim is something that we typically don't see, and it's something that's very important to us. So it does a couple of things. One, it provides a more dangerous environment for our police officers because they don't really know what they're walking into, especially with domestic calls. That is one of the most dangerous calls that police officers can respond to. And it also leaves the individuals exposed where the offender may get away with what's going on. It makes it more difficult for us to prosecute cases, and it provides an opportunity for the offender to reoffend, and we certainly don't want that. So it's really that first 5 minutes before the officer arrives that is very, very critical and important for us, especially when it comes to evidence, so that we can grab that evidence and use that as part of our case so that we can hold the offenders accountable. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, the old way of calling the police with 911, it has some, it does provide some issues, especially if a victim feels uncomfortable of picking up their phone in front of the offender to call the police. And sometimes that actually escalates the problem, because we have seen situations where a victim actually is harmed because they picked up the phone to call the police, and the offender is trying to take the phone away from them. But what eBodyguard allows a victim to do is to actually call the police with voice activation, and means that we are on the way without the victim having to pick up the phone and dial 911. Additionally, it's providing evidence of what's occurring at the time, so that when we are able to get that evidence from the portal, we're able to see exactly what happened, and it's going to really help our case as we move forward with bringing the charges with the DA's office. So one of the areas that we're looking at modeling this is, and it's an example I'd like to use because I think it really touches every community in the United States, and that has to do with organized retail crime or retail theft. And what we do know that, we know here in Colorado, it's a major problem, and it's a major problem throughout the country. But we know that it isn't just a financial issue for retailers and for other businesses within our community, but it's really a problem when it comes to safety of the employees of the retailers, of the community, and people that are visiting the retail locations. And what we've seen in this area is a 17% increase in threats and acts of violence against retail employees during theft events. And part of that is happening without any evidence being recorded. So when the police officers arrive, many times they don't have that evidence to help make that solid case for the prosecution. We've also seen a 16% increase in incidents involving weapons or a threat displayed, used during that event. So that not only can provide a problem and a threat against the actual employees in the store, but also the customers that are in the store just shopping, and they have no idea what's going on, and they can be put at risk as well. And we also know that 83% of retailers say aggression or violence towards employees are the same or higher than it was a year ago. And these are 2025 numbers. So really, it's something that we aren't seeing as a problem that's being abated. It's something that we're seeing that's ongoing. And what we've seen in the past is retailers that have reluctant sometimes to call the police because they don't feel that anything's going to be done. And so that's why the trust portion is so important here. But with using technology like eBodyguard, we feel that it's going to be able to provide us better information and better evidence so that we can hold these offenders accountable. Because we know that the more often somebody reoffends and that they have the propensity to actually create a more safety hazard for not just the retailers, but the community at large. So that's very, very important to us. Next screen, please. So I'd like to leave you with just a couple of things, and I can answer some questions if you have any. But often, when a 911 call is made, by the time the officers arrive, even if it's a pretty quick response, let's say 5 or 6 minutes, the suspect's already left. This leaves the victim and the community feeling unsupported. It's also at that point, we don't have the critical evidence that we could use for prosecution of the offender and identification of the offender. And it doesn't allow us to provide the officers information that they need to be safe, quite honestly, because we know that these can be very dangerous situations. So gathering evidence at the first 5 minutes are so critical to accomplish a couple of things. One, providing the officers the information they need to be safe so that they can keep the community safe and arrive safely. And two, to make a faster arrest and to hold those offenders accountable so they aren't doing it again and again and again and committing more crimes and actually providing more of a safety hazard for the retailers and the community at large. So again, we like to innovate, and we're always open to using technology to help us keep our communities safe. So I'll leave it at that and answer any questions if anybody has any.
Fabulous. Do we have any questions from the group? You can either put, yep, okay. Andrew, how are you?
How are you? Thank you for this. I guess my question is, it sounds like you pay for the subscription, but then can you explain how does the requirement to connect with the police department work? Do you need to connect with the police department for this to work or not? Or what is that like?
Is this to me or to Chief Cully?
I'm both, I guess. I'm not sure how this works. I'm just trying to understand. Thanks.
We're integrated into all of 911. And so when the community, an individual downloads their app off of eBodyguard, off the Apple and Google Play Store, if they need to connect to their 911, then yes, the 911 will be able to respond in America.
So is that like right now, if I downloaded the app, it would connect, like I'm currently in Kansas City, Missouri. Does that mean that if I call 911 now through the app, it would go automatically to my 911 dispatch, or how would that work?
That's correct, Andrew.
And so then from the PD side, they have to do anything, or does there need to be an agreement of some sort, or like how does that work?
Then go ahead, Chief. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I
or-
was just going to say that our 911 center would receive that call as we would any other 911 call, because it's set up, like Melissa said, to receive those types of calls. So we would receive it just like we would a 911 call. And in fact, when it comes into the 911 center, it says it's from the eBodyguard app. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes, thanks.
Well, to follow up just real quick, and then we'll have to pop over to our next demonstration. But so then what is the subscription who's paying the subscription? It's PD. And what are they paying for specifically?
Yes, so there's two ways on the Apple and Google Play Store. The community can buy it for currently it's $5.99, but we're about to go up to a $9.99 and a $19.99 model.
Okay.
And then on the city side, they go to contract with us for the program, for the whole program, and then they receive promo codes that they pass out to their citizens.
Gotcha. Okay.
I can answer the Nicholas question. He says, is this tied to another tiered service? Do 911 calls go through this service to get faster response times? And how do home security systems work? Home security systems typically work that they go through to an answering call center somewhere in the country, and then the call center calls the dispatch center or wherever the community is. So that is the delay in time. This with the eBodyguard app, it actually goes directly to our 911 center, just like a 911 call.
Yeah. And
Um,
Nicole, we have contact information that we can send to you that you can send out to everybody.
Yes, actually, please drop it into the chat, and so that everyone has access to it right here. But we can also make sure that it goes out with the email because we do a follow-up email to everyone. We can make sure that your contact information is in there as well. But please also feel free to answer, like Andrew has another question in there. Feel free to answer the questions directly in the chat. And thank you, Melissa, and thank you, Chief Colley. Really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. I believe I'm now popping it over to Albert.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
Nicole, can you hear
Oh,
me?
yep, I think so. I think you froze a little bit, but we should be okay.
Perfect. I'm coming to you live from the DMV right now.
Oh,
So I'm actually on two devices, one that's trying to show my face and one that's trying to show here. So long as you can hear me, we're good to go.
yep, we can hear you
Uh,
just fine.
perfect, perfect. Then is Beth still on?
I can,
Me in my car. Are you able to hear
Hey,
me?
Beth. Yeah, I can hear you
Hi,
loud and
I'm
clear.
in the car. Hello, great. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Beth. So I know you said you're in your car right now.
I'm driving. I work very far from Allentown. I live very far from Allentown, and I have to be at an event in 2 hours, and I have to pick up a Red Cross vehicle also while doing that. So
No.
there's a lot going on today, but I wanted to be sure to connect with all of you. I'm in the Eastern time zone, so to me it's 4:30.
Absolutely. Appreciate you taking the time. And I just wanted to take a moment to share with the group, have you share a little bit about what you vibe coded over the last couple of months um, with this municipal officials guide.
So I actually was in higher education for most of my career. And in December, as part of all the changes that have happened, my department was eliminated. So I wasn't old enough to retire, but I had enough years to retire. So I thought I would try something new and go into public service. So I worked for a bi-county planning organization in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, which also includes the MPO, sorry. And so it's a whole new field for me. So when I came in January, they said we have this municipal official guide that's a PDF that we have to manually like update like every day. Can you do something with it? And I said, oh, sure I can. Hold my drink. Let me see what I can do. So I vibe coded it completely. It's completely vibe coded. I used Claude and I just said, I need a municipal officials guide. Tell me what you need. How do we build this and how do we build it together? And so it actually produced the code fairly quickly. The thing that really took the time was scrubbing all the data because, generations of data were 60 years old. Our planning commission is 60 years old. So over the course of history, things have gone into this spreadsheet that didn't really make a whole lot of sense to the AI. So we spent a lot of time working together on cleaning up the data And then once that data was cleaned, we could feed it into Claude, and it built the municipal officials guide. And if somebody who has screen sharing capability can go to lvpc.org and then click on commission.
lvpc.org. I'm going to it. I'm going to it right now.
Yay! And then it's under commission. You'll see municipal officials guide, and you'll see it. You'll be able to see it.
lvpc.org. And Sean, if you're able to share a link in the chat so folks can take a look at it, that'd be great.
Now, originally, and I
I'm
think
just
when we met out,
yeah.
When we met out, I had it hosted on Netlify, but I have since moved it over to we've moved it over because we made some space. We have GoDaddy, which is awful. And it wouldn't host it before, but everything you see there is vibe coded, including the lock, the input, how to connect it to Google so that it can be edited live. All of it was done as a vibe coding exercise to show the power of vibe coding and really like how vibe coding can actually solve real problems. And so now when you look at it, you'll see that not only does it include all of our elected officials for the 2 counties, but it also has our school board, it has our state representatives, it has our congressional representation, our senator, and it has just general information. We didn't put personal emails or anything like that on there, but this is all public information already. So we're not releasing to the wild anything that's private or proprietary, but it's a one-stop shop. And when I look at the statistics, we've had like 600, on average, 600 unique visitors in the 2 months it's been live. So, that's 1,200,
wow.
I don't know if they're once a month of people that are using this. And I know our communities have said, like, this is amazing because you can look up by sewer. Like, you went to a meeting, you went to an LTAP training, and you met some guy from, another town down the street, and all you know his name is Bob, right? You can look up by title, by role, by community. Oh, he was from Albertus, which is a tiny town up here, and then you can find him. So, there's all kinds of search capabilities, by title, by role, by name, by county. Our 2 counties share a lot of similar names. So, there might be, there's Lehigh Township that's both in Northampton County and Lehigh County. So it'll pop up both, but the powerful piece is that this was all based on an idea, based on a problem that the staff was having at the LVPC, and keeping this kind of record updated every month, because Hannah, the person who has to update it, would have to change the PDF, upload it again, and she had a real hard time keeping it up to date. So we've kept it up to date. She can make edits to it. I can make edits to it. And it uses a universal password, and it's publishing out to a Google spreadsheet that's actually holding the current data and then refeeding it back to.
Some awesome.
All that was done.
So it sounds. No, I'm seeing comments in the chat.
Please read them. And if there's any questions,
we'll get to that in a sec. I wanted to make sure that we understood as a group. I heard there are 2 components. So they're the actual site that we're seeing here, and then you were mentioning some data cleaning component. So did you also put out a solution for the data cleaning?
Yes. So I used AI for every piece of this. So I said, how do I clean up this data? And Claude said, you need to do this, this, and this. I said, okay, I'll go do that. So Hannah and I sat down, and then she organized the data the way Claude wanted to see it. And then we put the data in. And then when we made the lock, it said, oh, I can only update on your webpage, because I build everything in one HTML file with CSS and JS included. I don't want to call out to any other files. I always want everything contained in that one file. So then Claude came back and said, well, that's nice. Great idea, BRG, but it's only ever going to save to your local copy. It's not going to save to the, to the web version. If you want to do that, then you have to connect with and do a spreadsheet. I mean, you
Right.
could probably use other tools too. We use Google. We have a Google Workspace account. So then it walks me through how to build that, how to connect them, and it works. Now there was a little hiccup when I moved it from Netlify over to our own server. It broke that that Google link, and I had to recreate that. But that just I said, look, I broke it. What do I do? How do I fix it? And Claude came back and said, here's how you fix it. So I followed those steps, and I always ask it to explain things to me like I'm in 10th grade, because it'll break the steps down in little pieces, which is great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that approach of you run into a problem and then you can still ask Claude to explain to you, hey, how do I solve this problem? And you can start troubleshooting with it as well. Um, Tyler, I see your question or your comment in the chat about this compared to Power BI licensing. If you wanted to come off mute and just comment or question on this, would love to hear you.
Well, I was
I'd
just
love to hear
saying,
that question.
I've been thinking about this a lot because I've been using Claude and Copilot to create little websites to show data that we would normally create a Power BI report for. And so I just envision a world where instead of paying a ton of Microsoft licensing to build a Tableau or Power BI, we could build the skills and agents to quickly generate a static website or even dynamic websites to display data.
That was actually really the genesis of it. We don't have a budget because all of our funding has to be tied to an existing grant that we have. And so at the college, we used Power BI, right? That's how we did our analytics there. And I didn't have that option. So I'm like, okay, I don't have any of these tools that I'm used to. What can I do? And I thought, well, let's see what Claude can do. Like, what's the worst that can happen? It'll come back and say, sorry, you have to have this thing or that thing to do it. And it didn't. It's like, oh, sure, we can do this. And, it was very, now I said, and this is in our webinar that we did, I have very strict rules on the back end of my Claude that govern how my Claude operates. So it cannot lie to me. It couldn't change anything. It had to ask me questions before it could make any changes. It had to tell me everything it was doing. If it couldn't do something, it had to give me the reason why and options for what I could do instead. So I have that baked into Claude, and that's how my Claude always operates at work. And then my Claude at home is more creative. That's a little bit looser. But at work, because we're getting federal funds, it's very strict and locked down to those rules. And I'm happy to share those rules if anybody wants them. And I'm happy to share the code. I put this up on GitHub, but our director wasn't comfortable with that. So I'm happy to share it on a one-to-one basis if anybody wants to see the code.
Awesome, Beth. And we'll drop your email in the chat and send that out to folks afterwards if you're comfortable with that. Just if they have questions to reach out.
And I do appreciate
Awesome.
everybody's patience. Talking to me while I'm driving over the mountain through the woods.
Thank you for taking the time, Beth, and please drive safe through this. And yes, I saw a few people giving a round of applause. Please give a huge round of applause for Beth and the work that she did and shared with us here. Sean already dropped it in the chat, but if you'd love to see a deeper dive into what Beth did, where she walked through some of the conversations she had with Claude and how she made all this happen, you can check that out on our Coalition YouTube at the link that Sean just shared in the chat. And also, please give a huge round of applause to Sean for absolutely saving the day on this and sharing the screen, getting all this while my DMV internet is struggling. So huge thank you to him as well. And Carrie, I'll pass it back to you.
Well, good luck there.
Just say one more thing.
Yes, go ahead, Beth.
I'm so sorry. If anybody wants to build this and they want me to meet with them, I'm happy to do that. I just wanted to put that out there that I'd be happy to like hop on a call with you. Um, I get up earlier than I can stay late, but I'm happy to, I'm happy to schedule a time.
Well, thank you. That is a very kind and fabulous offer and really in the spirit of our public sectorness here. So excellent. Thank you again. Beth, as I was listening to this, I was thinking about some of the implications and thought processes of, oh, but vibe coding and what do you do with the code and how do you not do dangerous things and get in trouble with your software engineers? And what you were doing really sounded a lot more like what we call low code coding, which isn't really writing tons and tons of code. It's here's the tools I have and the things that they can do to connect to each other and make workflows. And you used Claude to make them do it a lot better. And the other point that I really wanted to make, and thank you for bringing up, was vibe coding does not mean coding with no rules. I loved how you explained your guardrails and how intentional you were about your guardrails. And I think that is a very important tenet of what this vibe coding task force should be about, is how we're empowering people to do great things. We don't all have to be software engineers, but we have a lot of tools at our disposal that if we learned how to connect them together and write rules, we could solve a lot of little problems. So I think that was a really, really great way to end the use case committee meeting today. Wonderful, wonderful things were brought up. And I just want to again encourage everyone, please sign up. Albert, I don't think we have like a true sign up sheet. Could we do something about that? Could we whip up like a Google Doc and put your name down and what phase you might want to be in or what is interesting to you about the vibe coding, and we can develop some groups and leaders?
Absolutely. Let me get that for you.
Albert can make magic no matter where he is sitting, and I appreciate it so, so much. You guys are always so amazing. Um, Before we kind of hop off for the day, does anybody have anything else they'd like to share?
Yeah, I actually would like to. I'm Rick Rafey. I'm in Santa Clara. I help lead the training working group, and Melanie McDonough actually gave a presentation after she'd done one here to our group, and we had that stimulated a lot of interest. I have like three quick point questions. One is, you obviously the right approach with vibe coding is this prototyping. But when I looked at the eBodyguard, that's a commercial app at this point. And so I just want to clarify, is that it started as vibe coding or it's been vibe coded all the way through, but it is in a pure production commercial state? Can somebody clarify that for me?
Yeah, Rick, that was one of our vendor presentations. And so our vendors aren't necessarily part of this vibe coding thing. Traditional software principles, they may have, like a Claude code that might be happening underneath the hood. But they're not necessarily
Oh,
um,
okay.
a part of
Okay.
this vibe coding group that
Okay.
we're moving
I
forward.
got I got it mixed up. So that I got in a little late, so I missed the setup for that. Okay, so the second thing is I have somebody in mind that might be really good to lead this. It's similar to the way Lon and I have been leading the training working group. They're not in government, but it's somebody in Denver who works for General Assembly and has like a whole side work project like teaching people how to vibe code in at scale. And I haven't talked to him in months, but he just seems like his experience would be really, really applicable to this if there's somebody I should share that with or try.
Let's take that offline because part of our kind of our ethos is for local government by local government, and we just want to make sure that we're anchoring in the right spots. So go ahead and send us the email, and we'll figure it out as a committee on the back end.
Okay, that sounds good. And then the last thing is in the interest on the training group side was to have to try to potentially build a playbook so that people could take the how we did it and really apply that and roll up their sleeves, but with some kind of, you know, directions on how to go about that. And Melanie had expressed some interest in doing that. And the next thing I knew, you guys were setting up this whole vibe coding task force. So I'm curious if there's what it would take to potentially get that as an output of the task force.
Yeah, it's definitely something that we've talked about. And based on everyone's volunteer hours, could potentially be a great output. But yeah, I think we're still exploring all the things that we can,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, and also for everyone, we are going to have a vibe coding session at the Coalition Summit. So if this is something that you're super interested in, it'll be live, like in real life, that we will have the vibe coding session so that we can get more hands-on. I think part of it too, Rick, is to also get some of those learnings while we're in real life to also roll into sort of this manual, if you will, like your best practices, because part of this, and it's already been articulated a bit in the chat, is that not only is there kind of the vibe coding guardrails, but then like what's kind of the process when you hand off to your IT team, or like when I hand off my prototyping off to my engineering team for my town. So there's like all these things that we kind of want to pull together, but the in real life is going to be a fabulous opportunity for us to learn next to each other. So be on the lookout for that, everyone. If you haven't signed up, let's just do the plug right now. Please sign up for the summit. We'd love to see you there.
Excellent. Thank you for fielding all those questions, Nicole, who is again the best at this and already has some experience running this for another group. So we're super lucky to have that in this group. Anybody else have any questions? There's a couple minutes left on the clock. All right. Well, everyone, have a great rest of your day. We're so happy that you were able to come. This was a super great crowd today. And Albert and Sean, as always, thank you very much for helping us keep things organized and running smoothly. See you guys next time.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Carrie. Thanks, Nicole.